everyone. Welcome to Mystic Bee Spiritual Insights. If you are tuning in for the first time, thanks for being here. My name is Anna Marie, and I am your host. This show is all about offering spiritual insights, a couple of live readings, and really just trying to share some intuitive guidance that will help you on your journey. So I'm humbled that you've decided to join me as we celebrate, I'm sure as all of you have heard by now, the spring equinox and the kickoff to Aries season. Whatever circumstance you may have going on in your life, I thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope you find this meaningful. Big picture, spring equinox technically is really just when the sun crosses the equator. It moves from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere, and there's an equal amount of day and night. So energetically, there's just a lot of us in the metaphysical realm that we look at this as an opportunity to see balance between light and dark, and really just that transition from endings and new beginnings as we call in the season of spring. So it may not feel like spring where you are. I know it's still a little bit cold here in Boise. There's still snow up on the hills and the heat's going at night. But regardless of where you are or what the weather looks like for you, just remember that this is really about the energy of spring. And it's that energetic shift towards growth and renewal. We also have Aries season that kicks off tomorrow. I'm also an Aries, good or bad, right? I will say I'm a recovering Aries. How's that? Lots of great qualities that Aries can have. They also have challenges like every other sign. But the thing that's great about kicking off this first sign of the zodiac is that Aries is really known for high energy, very action oriented. There's a lot of confidence and courage and kind of sometimes unapologetic boldness that will come with some Aries. So for those of you that really want to embrace the transition into the month of spring, you may have Aries in your chart. If you do or you don't, this is still a great time to try to manifest those new beginnings. So one of my favorite practices is I love writing. I like lists. I prefer to do it with old school paper and pen. But think about creating two lists. One list of just affirmations about what you're releasing and what you'd like to bring in. And the second is really just your manifestation list, all of those things that you would like to bring in this coming season. I personally like to seal them in an envelope. I then tuck them away and I revisit them at the following or the end of the season and the upcoming summer. So just something to think about. But why don't we go ahead and just try to carry that positive energy about growth and renewal into our upcoming readings. We have Tammy, I believe, from Ontario, Canada, joining us. Tammy, do I have you with me?
You do.
How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm great. I'm thankful that you've decided to tune in. So I would love to help you and support you in some way. Do you have a particular topic that you would like to drill in on, or would you like a general reading?
General.
Just general? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. I think just kind of what I'm tapping into is maybe that's why you're asking for general. I feel like there's just a lot of different things that you would like clarity on. Um,
Yeah.
it, I was going to say, it feels like you have a whole laundry list. So I would imagine it feels like just all areas of your life seem a little bit clouded for you right now. I feel like you're in limbo. It's almost that transition, just like we're talking about the spring equinox crossing from one hemisphere to the other. It feels like you're in a doorway or a threshold of change. Like everything's sort of been moving, but it hasn't quite made the complete shift yet. It feels like home, money, work, relationships. It really feels like everything. Does this make sense for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay. But I feel like there's one particular area that may be taking more time and energy. And so I always try to be sensitive about the types of relationships. I need to get better about how I describe energies, but I'll be my unapologetic Aries self and say, I feel like there's more concentration over perhaps a male energy that is a little bit moodier and maybe having just more influence on your mindset and how you're looking at these circumstances. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Because I
definitely.
feel okay,
Boyfriend.
because I feel like you don't have that personality, but he has quite an influence on whether or not you're looking at these changes in an optimistic way or a more cynical way. So I just want to say I feel like you're doing the right thing, like you're trying to be optimistic. I think you have a lot of faith and you're believing in kind of higher powers, so to speak, to work these things out. Does that resonate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
So, yeah, so here's the thing. Don't be discouraged. He just processes information and events differently than you do. Hang on to your faith
Okay.
and your belief. I absolutely believe that things are going to work out. Um, I feel like you may also wonder because of his disposition. I think you may wonder sometimes if you guys are a good fit. Um, I I don't see you giving up on anything, just so you know. I don't think whatever the disconnects are, they don't seem significant enough for you to move on. I just think that this is the quirky part of his personality that you are
Hmm.
just going to accept. So I feel like from a relationship standpoint, if that's one of those topics, I feel like it is successful. I feel like you get through things, you build more of a foundation together, but I feel like all of these other things that are in flex are what make you nervous. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like I want to try to help you because there's so many different topics and I like when these things happen organically. So I don't want you to tell me the topics first, but I think what I would like to do is just try to drill into maybe we can pick 3 topics with the short time that we have, and I'll see if I can give you a little bit more encouragement. Does that
Okay.
sound like a plan?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So when I think just from a money perspective, I think you just need to and I feel like you've been responsible, like you're being very practical and mindful with your money. I feel like you just need to do that for a little bit longer and you'll find some reprieve. It feels like in the next month or so things will improve.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Um I also feel like there's some sort of emotional dynamic, and I don't know, it feels like it might be in a professional setting, um, or I mean, it could be friends or family that you work with or do business with, but it feels like you're having to defend yourself professionally. Is there some sort of issue that you've been dealing with that you just feel like you're not getting a fair shake?
Yeah. A little bit.
Okay.
On
Okay.
some days, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, it just feels like it doesn't feel like it's one thing. It just feels like you're constantly having to explain or defend yourself. Um,
Hmm.
and I just don't think I think it's exhausting you and I don't think it's warranted. But there's something about I feel like you're gonna learn something new or you're even thinking about going back to school. Have you thought about mastering some other aspect, or
Oh,
acquiring some new skill for work?
definitely. I've thought about it quite a few times
Okay,
about going back to
okay,
school, do better.
okay. So here's what I'm gonna say, just, on the professional front, I actually think you do go back to get some additional certification. I don't feel like it's a long duration, like, I don't think you go back to school for years, but I think that there's something that you can study and learn in, like, 6 weeks,
Okay.
and I feel like that propels you into a new professional path, and you actually leave your current role. Now, it doesn't mean
Nice.
you leave yeah, it doesn't mean you leave the company or whatever if you wanna stay there, but I feel like you definitely change jobs. And I feel like you can
Okay.
have I feel like you can have all of the education or certification and information that you need, and into your new role really by August is how it feels to me. It feels like late summer is how it feels. Does that help
I
with
can
one
wait.
of the Yeah, go ahead.
No, I can wait.
Oh,
I
you
can do
can
what I
wait.
need to
Okay.
do, and I can wait.
Okay. Yep. So whatever arena that you're contemplating, I would just say follow your intuition. Usually, our decisions in life, things that we enjoyed as a child, the feedback that we get from friends, family, or coworkers, there's usually some hints about what we're really naturally good at and what we enjoy. So don't be
Hmm.
shy about kind of revisiting what people are always complimenting you on, or what is the thing you wanted to be when you were a child, and just think a little bit harder about that option. But I do feel like you go back to school in a certification educational way, but it's not years. I also think you have the money to do it, right? You have the funds or the means or the support to get that knowledge. But I really think that changes things for you professionally. And I think it does bring in more money in the long run.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Have you, I feel like is have you thought about doing anything in health and wellness?
Yes,
Okay, because I
definitely.
feel like yeah, I feel like I'm getting some sort of homeopathic health wellness sort of certification, and, you know, no judgment on what life you live or not, but, I don't partake in certain things, but the energy that I get is more, like the CBD stuff, the microdosing stuff. Like, I think there's some legal element of just sort of natural healing agents that you're
Okay.
curious about and you may explore as part of your health and wellness. Does that make sense for you?
Yep,
Okay,
definitely.
cool. Um, any other, you want me to
Wow.
try to jump? You want me to try to jump into one or two more things real quick?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Um, I don't know. So I feel like one of the areas may be around, I want to say family and community. So the energy that I'm getting is that for you to be happiest, I think you really recognize that you have a purpose and a desire to serve others. And so you may not pick that as the primary work that you do. Like, you can still be a healer, right? But I feel like there's something above and beyond that you may want to do in your community. So I just want to encourage you to I want to encourage you to think about getting involved in some nonprofits, or perhaps lending some of your expertise to a board or a committee in your community, because I think there's some
Okay.
causes that are really important to you, and I think because you haven't gotten as involved with them, there's sort of this sense of, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? Does this make sense for you?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And believe it or not, I feel like it's in an interfaith environment. I feel like it's a really diverse sort of organization. It may have interfaith, or just a lot of cultural diversity. But I just want you to think about that. I think it would give you a lot of meaning to what you're trying to accomplish. Okay.
Okay.
And I would say just finally, don't let other people bring you down. So just even with boyfriends or negative Nellies at work, or, maybe it's those helpful family members that are giving you too much advice. Um, I just want you to continue to embrace the faith and belief that you have, that all of these things are going to work out. I know it's cloudy right now, but I think you'll be surprised. Things are really going to start becoming clear. And I hope our time together during this call has offered a little bit clarity to get you started as we kick off Aries.
No, it's offered a lot.
Good. That's great. I wish you the very best, and it's been so wonderful chatting with you. Have a great spring,
Thank you.
and I hope you join us again next week.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I think we have Casey with us now. Casey, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Casey. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like, are you tired?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, no, I feel like you're carrying a lot. I feel like you have either been working too much, you're kind of wearing yourself down, you're just taking on too much. And I feel like part of that is also taking care of other people. Does this make sense for you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Um, so number one, I'm sorry. I know what it's like to be exhausted, and I know what it's like to kind of carry the burdens and the efforts just to help others. So don't neglect yourself. Okay. This is a good time, right? To make some space and let go of kind of overcommitting. Um, have you had a dream recently about some events happening in your life?
Yes, I actually have.
Okay. I feel like there's something about this dream that you've had. One, I think it's repeating in your mind. It feels like it's something that you keep trying to figure out what it means. Um, so I don't know if you're looking for clarity on that dream. I just feel like there's an important dream that you've had. Do you want me to try to give you a little bit of clarity energetically?
Y- Yes, that would be perfect.
Oh, okay. So I do think you're right. The dream is as significant as you think. Don't get caught up in the details so much of the dream. And I know it's tempting to kind of dive into every symbol, but I want you to pay attention to how you felt in the dream. But first and foremost, recognize I feel like you have the gift of prophecy. I think you get information in your dreams about future events. Do you find that happen?
Yes.
Okay. This particular dream, I don't think is one of those situations. Okay. I think this dream has a different purpose for you. So whatever happened in the dream, I don't want you to worry about, oh my gosh, that thing's going to happen and now I need to do X, Y, and Z. But I feel like this dream has something to do with you evaluating how you are investing yourself in the goals and the areas in your life that you're trying to progress. So just like I sensed immediately that you were really tired, I feel like this dream is telling you, hey, are you really are you surrounding yourself with the best people, right? Are you spending your time in the most meaningful areas? Are you talking kindly to yourself? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you prioritizing your health just like you're prioritizing the health of other people? Does this make sense for you at all?
Oh, yes, it does.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like that's really what this is. It's about you kind of pulling back for a moment and looking at each one of these kind of pieces of your life wheel and really asking whether or not you could make some improvements. And I think across the board, it's really about the quality, not quantity. If you took one phrase or one meaning out of that dream, focus on the quality because I feel like you are burning yourself at both ends and it is not good for you. I feel like it's just going to wear you down and you're not of service to yourself or anyone else when you're depleted, when your cup is empty, so to speak. Does this make sense at all?
Yes.
Do you work in hospitality or food industry or something like that?
No, I'm kind of disabled right now.
Okay, that's okay. Um, I'm a big in you are abled, I believe in able-bodied folks. I know sometimes the world uses those words that say we're not capable of doing things, but I have no doubt that you have a lot that you contribute in many, many ways. Um, I sense that there is some sort of event that is around food, entertainment. It doesn't feel like it's celebratory, but it feels like it's more of a gathering of family. So I don't know if you live away from kind of the area where you were raised, but I'll refer to this as the feeling of going back home and spending time with family. Does this make sense for you at all?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like you will go back home, wherever home is. Sometimes home is where the heart is, sometimes geographically, it's, just a distance away, but I feel like you will go home. I feel you're surrounded by family. I feel like there's also a new relationship or a renewed relationship. So I don't know if you're going to be meeting someone for the first time. Let's say if a relative has gotten married or someone has a new boyfriend or something like that, I feel like that there may be a new addition to the family. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Okay. So, but I feel like the addition is good. So if someone has a new partner or mate, I think you will like them and you will get along. It feels like the time with family is positive. Um, But I would just say, just be mindful, of the time and energy, that you're putting in to these other areas. I also feel like there's, possibly some change around your living circumstance. Usually the energy is either there's some sort of reconfiguring or change in the home that's needed, or this is actually like you thinking about moving. Are you thinking about moving?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I feel like you move. Um, I'm just trying to I'm getting like May. I'm just getting the month of May. I don't know what your plans are. I feel like you have your eyes on something, but I don't know. I feel like you're going to have more options. So you may know the opportunity in front of you, and that may be the catalyst that's getting you excited about moving. But I do feel a move. I feel the month of May. I don't know why I'm getting May 2nd. I don't know what the second significance is, but I'm getting like a month of May 2nd is the energy. But I feel like you will have additional options presented to you before you make the final move. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And I also feel if part of this involves kind of a significant amount of money that you have to put down, or if you're actually buying a home, I feel like there's a lump sum money that comes to you to make this move happen. Are you looking for some extra financial support to make this move, or are you looking something more substantive to come through financially to help this happen?
Yes, I'm trying.
Okay. Okay, I think it will be there. So if this is something that you've been worried about, I do feel it feels um it's strange. It's somewhere between a loan and a gift. It feels a little bit informal, but it feels like it is an offering or a support in a lump sum amount from someone that you know. It doesn't mean it's a family member giving you money to make this happen, but it could even be like, oh, you have a nice relationship with the person at the bank. And they're like, oh, sure, you've been a great customer, right? We can give you this small amount. But it feels like there's a connection there. I feel like the money will be there, the move will happen, but just know I feel like there's going to be more options on the table. And I think that the additional options help you feel more relief. Um, just about the financial circumstances down the road. Does this make sense for you?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think kind of the other thing that I would mention, Casey, I do feel like you're waiting for some information or a response. Um, are you waiting for a yes or message from someone to come through to you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. So I feel like the message is going to come. It feels like it's from a female. Is it from a female that you're waiting to hear from?
No.
Okay. So what I feel like the message ties to a female. just so you know. That's the energy around it. I feel like the message comes in, but I feel like you've been waiting for a long time for the message. Does that resonate?
Actually, yes, it does.
Okay. So it feels like, and if I had to say just final kind of details on this, it feels like it, whatever the message is, it somehow for me feels like it relates to a woman. It may be related to someone who was sick, something along those lines, or some sort of legal issue about the woman that was sick. Does this make sense at all? I know it sounds very strange, but does it make sense to you?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's okay. Just all I know is this: your message is coming. Okay, don't give up. I know you're tired. I feel like the delay or something has to do with this woman that feels sick, or there's some sort of hoop that has someone has been jumping through in order to get the message to you. So, whatever, if it's bureaucracy, if it's an approval, I feel like you get the information and it is positive in your favor. Okay.
Okay.
Does this help you at all, Casey?
Honestly, yes, it does a lot.
Oh, good. Okay. Stay encouraged. I say just go forward. Aries is a great time. Be courageous, be bold. You've got spring on your side, all the momentum, but you've got to get some rest. I just feel like you're over worrying or you're overextending yourself and you need to get some rest because you got a lot of stuff to pack, right?
Yeah, that's true. I do need to get some rest.
Yeah, you need to get some rest. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you keep me posted on all the progress. I would love to hear once you're all settled in your new place.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take good care.
You too.
Okay. Well, I don't know about all of you, but that was a jam-packed session. So I'm just going to say, I want all of you to have just an amazing spring. Don't forget to write down your affirmations and intentions, seal them in that envelope and place it somewhere really special. And just don't try to control how things unfold. Just trust that it will. Thank you again. Until next time, trust yourself, let the magic unfold. And I'm wishing you a beautiful and blessed spring.